Hello crafters, this is Kerri from Razor Sharp Crafts, and a little different view, and I'm very sorry about the shadows, but I have a light that literally comes like right over my shoulder. Like, it's basically right onto here. So for this video, I'm sorry, we'll have to deal with the shadow. My husband's camping this weekend, so when he gets home tomorrow, I'll see what we can do with the shadow to maybe try to get it to go away. But this is going to be my first design team submission? Yeah, that's the word. For Diemond dies, and I don't know how this is going to turn out yet, but sorry. I keep hearing, like, I think it's one of my kids is up. Or one of my kids, yeah, one of my kids is up. Not more than one, just one, so. Anyways, I'm not sure how this will turn out, but I'm going to record it anyways. And so, diemonddies.com is where you can buy the dies that I will be using in this video. I don't know which ones I'm going to be using yet, so I can't really tell you which ones yet. I haven't completely decided. If you go to their website, use coupon code Kerri'sFriend. It'll get you 10% off of your entire purchase plus free shipping. Okay, so we're going to jump into this. So this project, it actually just came to me. I saw something on the internet. I don't remember what it was. It was a picture and it had the word gold on it. Oh, I'm trying to think of what it was. And all of a sudden, the Robert Frost popped into my head. And for those of you that don't know or just don't remember, Robert Frost was one of our great poets of the past. I was really big into literature when I was in high school, and I actually, when I first started going to college, when I first started, my major was secondary education with a specialization area of English, and because I wanted to be a high school English teacher. And then it eventually changed to elementary education with a minor in English, and is now into paralegal studies. After having my own kids, I realized I didn't want to deal with kids all day long and then have to come home and deal with my own kids. So anyways, I used to write poetry and everything. I actually had a couple poems that got published. But Robert Frost, this poem, it's also in the movie The Outsiders, or aka the book The Outsiders. But I don't know how many people remember the book, but there is a movie based on it as well. And it's Nothing Gold Can Stay. Nothing Gold Can Stay is the title of the poem. And I have it printed out here, but I do not even have to look at this. I can recite this right off the top of my head. Don't even have to read it. Nature's first green is gold. Her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leave, so Eden sank to grieve. Then dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. This is my inspiration for this project. And I'm going to try to, I'm going to put this poem onto the project. And the project's going to be a altered canvas, possibly into mixed media. I don't really know. I mean, it's going to be mixed media because there's going to be a bunch of different things done on it. But I don't have a clear picture in my head of how this is going to look yet. But I do have a couple things that I know that we need to do, so we're going to do them. And for starters, we're going to take, this is just a piece of white cardstock, and it's scraps. It's out of my little scrap bin. And I'm going to take Viva Decor's Inca Gold in Gold 901, and I'm going to cover this whole paper with it. Now the one thing I am going to do is I'm just going to rip that off because it was already cut And I don't want to take the chance of messing up a die cut with it. So, I'm not really sure the best method to get this Inca Gold on here, so I'm going to start with the method I normally do and just use my finger. But you can use it with like a paintbrush or any method you want, really. However, we'll get it onto the paper. Okay. So we're just going to cover this whole thing. It was funny though when I hate that they keep bending it. When this popped into my head, when that poem popped into my head, I immediately just started reciting it to myself. Because that's... I've had that poem memorized since I think like ninth grade. Stop bending! So then what I did is I found the poem online, number 1, to make sure I was still reciting it properly, which I was. It's funny how stuff like that sticks with you. This is already starting to dry. But anyways, and then just so I could look at it, because I'm the type, for learning, I learn better by seeing stuff rather than like reading it in a textbook or having something explained to me. I learn better by actually watching it done, seeing it, whatever. So anyways, shows why YouTube was my best friend. No, but so I'm sitting on my computer and I'm just like staring at this poem, and this poem was like the perfect thing for these Diemond dies initial released, because they're all nature items, you know. I mean, a rose, a fern leaf, a pine branch. Sorry. Okay, sorry. My phone was, my phone went off. I wanted to see what it was. Okay, a rose, a fern leaf, a pine branch, sunflower, and 2 butterflies. I mean, that's nature right there. And in the poem, nature's first green is gold. So it just popped some ideas into my head. And now we're going to roll with them. So, and this isn't even really using up a lot of my gold. If people are wondering, that people that maybe haven't used Inca Gold before. I wasn't even looking to see if I was on camera. I'm sorry. But because believe me, I'm stingy with my supplies. I'm like, oh, I don't want to use it because then I won't have it anymore. I'm horrible like that. But it's like, if you don't use it, then what's the point of having it? So I'm trying to get over that. I mean, my husband's really good about not getting... I'm really sorry. I hope this video turns out better than what it looks on my camera screen right now, because that shadow is just horrible. Maybe I can lighten it up in Windows Movie Maker or something, just so that you can see a little better. But I promise I'll try to get my light situation fixed. This is the first time I've been able to record at this station, so I didn't quite know what it was going to look like. Anyways, my husband's really good about, because we're a family of 5 and we live on 1 income. And, but I mean, we do all right. We're not, our kids want for nothing, we want for nothing. Like, well, I want a million things, but that's the way we are as crafters. So I'll get out of the way so you can kind of see how this is turning out. But yeah, so we're a family of 5 on 1 income, But my husband's not like the type like, no, you can't buy that, you know. If we have the extra money, he's like, go ahead and get it, you know. So that's why I'm like, okay, I just need to start using my stuff. Stop hoarding. Alright. So that looks really good. And I don't want it to be like perfect lines. Or like perfect, like, you can kind of, maybe you can't see it, but like there's some, like where you can see where I went in different directions. Different directionalities on it. And I want that because of what we're going to do with it. Okay, now who took my wipes? So last night I was going to craft, but with these new dies, I was like, man, my scrap paper is awesome for these because I'm the type I never throw away any paper. Again, that's the hoarding side of me. Like I cut something and I throw it all in this. I have like these large flat rate priority boxes under my desk, and I just throw them in that. I'm cleaning my hands off if you're wondering what I'm doing. I got a baby wipe, just cleaning my hands. So I just throw everything in there after I'm done cutting or whatever. And so last night, with my husband being gone, I don't know, I wasn't wanting to sit up downstairs and watch TV. So I went in our bedroom and I turned on, I have the complete series of the Gilmore Girls because I love that show. It was one of my favorite shows. But, so I turned on some Gilmore Girls and I sat on our bed and I dumped out I have two different boxes. One's of solid colors and one's of pattern colors. Or pattern paper, designer paper, whatever you want to call it. So first I went through the solid one and I dumped it and I threw out everything that wasn't at least 2.5 inches in one direction. It had to be like basically at least 2.5 by 2.5 to be kept. And then even some that were just like really close to that, I still just threw out because I was like, okay, it's time to just stop hoarding. But yeah, so now I can get into my scraps better. Like I threw out probably over half of my scraps, and it feels good. Okay. Sorry, this stuff really sticks to my hands for some reason. I can get a paper towel. I was about to wipe them on my jeans, but I don't know if Inca Gold stains or not. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I mean, it's pretty well dry now, but I want it to dry because I don't want to wrinkle it too awfully much. And then I'm just going to use a paper towel and I'm going to buff it. Let's see what it does if I do it right now. Well, we'll do it right now. Ah, see, that's what I didn't want it to do. I mean, I guess the more it wrinkles, the more realistic. Well, it's not going to look realistic anyways. So when it does that, it kind of creased in. Okay, so through trial and error, I've learned that right now this camera angle is not a good one. Or not the angle, but just like with that shadow. I am so sorry. But I want to record this for you guys, so I'm sorry for now. You will have to deal with it. And if it's completely horrible, then maybe at a later time we can do another tutorial that's similar. But I'll see how it looks when I put it on my computer. And maybe I can liven it up in Windows Movie Maker. Also, I like how YouTube now, like if they notice your video is shaky or too dark or too light, like they ask you if you want them to fix it. And it's like, heck yeah. Although be careful with that too shaky one. Like basically like, if you're like holding this up like here and you're shaking, it reads it as you're too shaky. Your camera's shaking. Oh, that's Indian yellow. Don't want that. Because it was like my first video that I did with this new camera rig that my husband built me. And like right at the end of the video, it came back and said, your camera or your video is shaky. Would you like us to fix it? And I'm sitting here thinking, how can a mounted camera be shaky? So I clicked on no. And then I watched the video after it was done loading, and I was like, where? It wasn't shaky anywhere. It was basically me shaking while holding the project. I could never be a doctor. Oh, gosh. Oh, I guess I could be a doctor. I just couldn't be a surgeon. Too shaky. So, alright. So I'll buff that again in a minute. I had to add a little more in those places. So what I'm doing... Okay, so I didn't finish explaining to you how I got this idea. So, of course I told you the poem. Well, then I was like... The line, so dawn goes down today. I was like, what do I do with that? You know, and like I got the gold idea and I got some green idea, but I was like, what do I do with so dawn goes down today? So what I did was I Googled so dawn goes down. I know. I left out the today because I was like, I didn't want to get too much of like stuff about the poem or about the outsiders, because this poem is known for like the outsiders. And I got this beautiful picture. And this is my inspiration for this project. I printed this out with my photo printer because I fell in love with it and I was like, this is very inspiring. So I'm using this to inspire my creation here. So, alright, I'm going to pause the camera for a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what I did was, I went and got some water and I buffed that gold piece in those couple spots real quick before I turned the camera back on so I could move it out of the way. And, sorry, opening my soda. Talking so much gives you a dry mouth, you know. 9 o'clock at night and I'm eating a Pepsi, drinking a Pepsi. Anyways. So, alright, here's our canvas. It's 6 by 6. Yeah, there's a little bug. And then I grabbed a piece of paper from the Prima Sunrise Sunset collection, and this is the A4 paper pad, so you can see what that looks like. And I grabbed this paper, and we're all going to be using a section of the bottom here. Oh, my nose itches. Okay, so let me measure. And I wanna wrap around the sides, so I need it to go to at least about there. So I'm gonna cut it at 6 inches. So let me do that. I'm gonna do that off camera because I'm just gonna throw this up here over here and cut it. And there's honestly no point in moving the camera just to cut and then moving it back, because I want to work over here because I'm going to be using Mod Podge. So, and right now I'm just trying to figure out my placement. Yeah, I like that, but I am going to have to cut off my corners. So we'll flip it over. there's rhyme to my reason as to why I'm leaving that bottom uncovered. Don't underestimate me. Alright, so we're going to flip it over. We're going to grab a pencil. And you're just going to outline the canvas. There we go. So pick that up. And the reason I did this, oh my god, I got way too many. Is that an eraser? No. Sorry, it's a new pencil. I got too many lines on that side. I couldn't tell which one was the actual one I wanted to go by. So let's lay this back down, get it all lined up again. Oh. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ruler on that line to the best of my ability, like that. And same with this one over here. Am I in frame here? Kinda. I'm just drawing them out to the ends. And you kind of want it like, I should move this one to about there, because you can take away, but you can't put any back. You know what I mean? So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these squares out of the corners. And I don't like to let sharp objects at all near my non-stick mat, but I'll do this for y'all. Like, I was really paranoid when my husband was putting up my, I'm going to go a little bit to the inside of this line. Okay, sorry. When my husband was putting up my camera rig, I was so scared he was going to mess up this mat. Because this mat's like a $30 mat. It's the Score Pal one where it lays flat on your desk and the edges don't curl up and you can wash it off, and it's awesome. I love it. And I got it from my friend Mary in Iraq last year at Christmas time. And I really don't want anything to ever happen to it, because it was so thoughtful of her to give me something like this. My friend Mary is the owner of Mini Album Scraps. I used to be a member over there. Well, I used to be like one of the admin people, but I just had a lot of stuff going on, so I stepped down, and I just got off the site because I had so much going on. I was like, I'm not going to be doing anything with the site right now, so I just figured I'd get off and concentrate my time more into my YouTube and my blog. Still got to get going on my blog better though. There. And I'm just trimming the edges so that I can get a nice wrap around on the sides. And that's going to be really nice. So we got that. And do I want to go ahead and Mod Podge that on now? Okay. Because what we're going to do, it's all going to be Mod Podged on. But what I'm going to do, God, I hate looking up at the camera because I hate seeing that shadow. And there's not really anything I can do because Like if I move off to the side, then I'm like all wonky and I can't craft all wonky. What I'm going to do, if you remember the photo, this is all black. So I'm going to try to rip it so it's all jaggedy so it looks like that. But a lot of it is I need to know how far down not to go, like not. I'm sorry. All right. So there we go. We got that. All right. I guess a good way to figure it out will be to measure. Okay, so this goes down about 4 5/8, just a little over 4 5/8. Yep. So that leaves just 1.25 inches. So what I want to do is on the back of this, from that line. Oy. All right, I'm going to go over where I have more light and measure this for just a quick second. All right. That's about right there. All right. Okay, so all I did is I got my ruler on my little score mark right here, my little fold, and measured up 1.25 inches. I don't really want to drop below that line while I'm ripping, because then canvas is going to show through. And I couldn't really go with covering this whole thing and then putting the black on top of it, because I really wanted a lot of this coloring right here. I didn't really want this red and pink, because I mean, what I'm actually going to try to do is across this top part here, I think I might try to bring in some of the blue of the top of the photo. So really only have about that much of the color of the paper showing. I'm going to try. I'm very optimistic today, huh? And I'm just measuring. My edges. So alright, this is going to be like this. So this is the side I want the high part. How do you think is going to be the best way to rip so that it looks I don't really know how this is gonna. I'm just rolling with it, peeps. I'll go down kind of far in some spots. Oh, that, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Because that was looking pretty good. And then taking that big chunk out. Let's see if I can save it. terrible. I think we can make it work. I kind of like the way it looks regardless, even if it doesn't look like trees. So let's get to Mod Podging. So I'm just going to use some matte Mod Podge. With a foam brush. And I'm just going to, yep, there you have it. We're going to just cover up this canvas really good. And we need to make sure to get all the sides because we're wrapping it all around. Sorry if I go off screen. This type of stuff I'm not used to recording. And I'm not used to recording at this crafty station. This is all different. And once I get rid of that glare, I'm going to love it. Or not that glare, the shadow. Okay. Alright. So I'm like biting it with my mouth to hold it down. And I'm actually going to do, I'm going to set that down. And I'm just going to use some regular Scotch tape. Because normally I would grab my heat gun and dry the Mod Podge. Sure. But my kids are sleeping. My craft room is right outside of their bedrooms. Which is another reason, if you haven't noticed, I'm trying to talk a little bit lower. And so I can't really run. So I can't really run my craft. Sorry, I'm like all scatterbrained right now, trying to multitask. I'm not really the best multitasker in the world. But anyways, yeah, so I can't run my heat gun because I'll wake up the kids. So I put a little Scotch tape on there to hold them down. Just until sorry if my head's in the way. Anyways, Scotch tape on there to hold them down. Oh, we didn't cut the corners away. Oh. Okay, well. Oh, I gotta get my other scissors. Getting entirely too close to some Mod Podge with this one. And those other scissors are like my fussy cut ones. So I don't like having them messed up. Anyways, so I put the tape on there just to hold it till the Mod Podge dries. Finally get that rest of that story out. And we're going to do the same with the black paper. There we go. Oh, I hate it when I make extra noise. I mean, I'm already trying to be quiet, so you know what? We're just gonna rip that off. And because I don't like, I'm off camera, I'm so sorry. I didn't like such the straight edges around the sides. So I'm just ripping them off, creating a little bit of extra whatever, I don't know. So what do y'all think? Canvas, picture, canvas, picture. Oh, if I can bring the blue in up here, this is going to be fabulous. Alright. Now I'm just going to let this dry for a few. Because I learned when I did my the Halloween configuration box that I just completed, I learned if you start trying to put the Mod Podge over top before the Mod Podge underneath is kind of set, that it tries to move your paper around. Now granted, with this all taped on the back, I don't think I'd have that problem, but I'll just wait a couple minutes. Or a couple seconds, probably, because I'm probably just going to go ahead and do it. Oh gosh, I'm loving this so far. Oh. Horrible at getting out of screen on you with this at this table. There we go. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now because I think with this one we're at 22 minutes and I think we were at like, I don't know, like 17 with the other one. So it's going to be a pretty good video. So I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge over this and get it set to dry off camera. So all I'm going to do is put a nice coat of Mod Podge over it. Nothing fancy. So stay tuned for what more we're going to do. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.